the agency over electrification of rural areas, and he's here to respond to a number of the. We still have villages, including in my own village, where there's no line. How well will you say your agency has fared?
Thank you very much for having me. I think in the beginning it's better for us to contextualize the level of work that REA is required to deliver. If you look at the numbers, Nigeria has the highest number of people without electricity. This number is as much as the total population of Germany or total population of Turkey. So the quantum of work that REA is required to do, it's not a small work. And that is why, despite all the efforts, despite all the work that has been done, people hardly feel the impact of that work. However, if you go to the areas where already we have deployed our infrastructure, they will tell you a different story. So I give you an example, a town here, a community here in Abuja, not far from where we are, called Pinzurmi. It's a community that has been in existence for over 100 years. And just recently, like 6 months back, we electrified that community. So if you go to that community and tell them, oh, the area is not working, they will stone you. So one needs to understand what the level of work and what the government is doing. Presently, the present government, the president, one of the first things he approved, it's a program that we call the Distributed Access Through Renewable Energy Scale-Up, which is the biggest public sector funded renewable energy project in the entire world. A $750 million loan from World Bank to electrify 17.5 million Nigerians. 17.5 is the total population of some of the African countries. So this is to show you the audacity of the present government to tackle the issue of electricity in this country. And this program that we started, just recently started, it's also designed based on the success of a previous program called the Nigeria Electrification Project, that we, through the project, were able to deploy over 160 mini-grid across the country, 4 of which are still also here in Abuja. If you go to Kwali, there's a community called Peti. There's another community called Kilankwa. You will see 400 kilowatt mini-grids providing electricity to over 20,000 Nigerians. And this is all across the country. So this is a part of the intervention that we are doing. And even beyond the communities, the rural areas that are without the electricity, we specifically intervening in essential sectors, education sector, health sectors. So if I pick education, for example, go to University of Abuja now, the entire university, the staff teaching hospital, the staff quarters, the admin block, the student hostel have been powered by a 3 megawatt hybrid mini grid that we deployed in that university.
These are off-grid systems.
These are
solar, green
energy, green energy, solar 247. Go to university.
Is it that we have learned from experience? I recall we had this light up project.
Light up
Nigeria. The vice president then, Osubajo, went to, I think, somewhere in Buhari, went somewhere in Bogwalada. I'm not sure those places are working anymore. Even in Wuse Market, I recall they had a cluster of those.
That's the sustainability.
Yes, the sustainability of some of this.
So you see, that is why our own program is a bit different. So we design and build our program around the private sector, and that is the main key sustainability. So how we do our own is, one, it's our intervention is not contract based. No, we do a PPP, public-private partnership with the private sector. So the private sector go to this community, like the Peti, I give you an example. They put out the infrastructure based on predetermined specification and standards that we provide them with. Once they deploy that, then they will now come back to us. Once we verify, we'll now give them what we call the capital subsidy. The capital subsidy will augment some of the cost of the infrastructure that they deploy, which means that they still have their money in it. So that them having their money, it ensures the sustainability, because the private sector will not just abandon their money. They will make sure that they run that mini grid over a period of time to recoup their investment and also be able to get some predetermined rate of return. And that is what ensures the sustainability.
Now, my concern here, sir, is how do you choose the beneficiary communities? Is it man, no man? What are their objective criteria? If his or her community is in need and man is in need, how do we key in?
Let me follow up on that question, please. The layman's understanding of the rural education means is for rural. How do you identify which is a rural community? That's one. Two, these days we have a lot of rural urban migration, and some rural areas have metamorphosed to urban areas. How do you differentiate? What modalities?
Very good question. So the first question in terms of how to determine the areas, we have currently, and this is another achievement of this government, mapped the entire country. If you now come to our office, and this is something also that yesterday we presented to show it to the Senate committee during our budget defense, we did a geospatial mapping of the entire country. Now, if you come to REA, we will show you the entire non-electrified communities in the country. Not only that, we will tell you the number of people that are in that community, estimated number of people in that community, the nature of occupation, the level of the kind of work they do. If it is farming, we'll tell you what they farm. We will tell you some indices of socio-economic indices within that communities. So that is one. We already have that mapping. Then how we choose that is data driven. We are reversing just arbitrarily going to community based on the fact that maybe I'm from Bayelsa, I go to Bayelsa to just deploy infrastructure. We are using data to define where we should impact. We have limited resources and enormous work to do. So based on the data, where should I put my 100 kilowatt mini grid to give me the maximum benefits?
Will you confirm that some of these projects are constituency projects?
So there are different level of funding that REA is getting. One is the bilateral and multilateral funding, and these are projects that we implement based on funding that we got from World Bank and Africa Development Bank. We have special programs for it. The second one is also the funding that we get from electricity market based on the act. The act provided that the electricity market should give REA some funding from the market. And this funding is if, for example, the regulator impose levies or fines on any market operator, that fines comes to us, or the excess revenue of the regulator should come to us. So that is the second source of funding. The third source of funding is from the grants that we get from international organizations. Then the third is the capital allocation, and this is what that may include the constituency project. So
just in few words, there are states that have had Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Rural Electrification before they come into existence of your organization. What is the level of collaboration so that we don't have clash of interest between the states and the federal government?
So in 30 seconds,
yes.
please.
So the Electricity Act clearly give us that leverage to intervene, to collaborate with the state. If you look at recently, we have been having different sessions, roundtable with the states. Just on the next one is with the Kogi. So we are collaborating with the state, giving them the framework of implementation, as well as also funding some of this project within the state. So there is a framework for that as well.
Indeed, I want to believe that the agency would also collaborate with us here on projects, so that some of these projects will follow them up and track them. The council has approved a project that the agency will work along with the state to deal with. And we'll take on more of these issues, and I'm sure we'll have the MD here from time to time. That's Political Platform this morning. Be a good citizen and stay out of trouble. I am David Jarvis.